Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It always helps me with the YouTube algorithm and all that stuff. Today, I'm going to tell you one thing that's really going to help you in your life, especially if you're young starting out, that I'm, learned after, 35 years on this world, which is not really that much time, but let me just get right into it. It's definitely, this video is going to be about drinking alcohol and too much. And it's so funny, like alcohol, right? You never really think, I never would have thought I would be making a video, or I never would have thought in my life I would have like drinking so much alcohol. Looking back, I don't even really know how it happened, but I will say that it's one of the number one things in this world that will slow you down and hold you back from achieving your dreams and just doing everything that you should do, because it's kind of just poison. You're literally poisoning your body and mind. For some reason, it just kind of like lowers the vibration and lowers your energy, and it really takes from you. And you don't really realize it, but it does. And, we use it to like conquer fears and like usually a lot of guys, like people go out and they drink because they're afraid of talking to girls, and, girls have a lot of anxiety as well. And there's a lot of dead time also when you're out as well. And so alcohol, of course, just makes you more extroverted and more fun. And everything more fun. But realistically, looking back, I definitely never would have thought I would have drinking so much alcohol my entire life. And if I could go back and I could have removed all the alcohol that I drank, I know that I would have had a better results in my life so far. But of course, if I didn't drink that much, then I probably wouldn't be able to make this video telling you about what to avoid. So, learn from my mistakes, because it's really unnecessary. So one thing for certain that I've seen, and our eyes are the biggest tellers of what's real in this world, because our eyes see things, and that's how we can tell and decipher what's truth. And so basically the people who from my high school and I've seen in my life that have ever turned out to be like professional athletes, like very, 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 very good professional athletes, they never really drank a lot of alcohol during, that period where they were on the ascending level, like as kids, and they never really got too mixed up in drugs. Like I know because I went to Oak Ridge High School in Northern California, and we had a kid that we had a couple people go into like the professional leagues. One person in particular, Ryan Anderson, and I know for certain that he was a Christian. He didn't really do that many bad things, and he went to church a lot, and he was practicing all day, every day, because he lived down the street from me. And he ended up starting on the Rockets, Houston Rockets. And if you look at it, I think he got like an $80 million contract for a period. So I definitely saw this kid when he, grew. I saw him since 5th grade all the way through high school. And for the most part, he didn't really get into the hardcore stuff. Like I saw a lot of guys in high school that were very talented and were very good athletes. And he's the one who kind of propelled pretty far in life with the sports, like the furthest. The only other person that really made it into the pros for my high school was a guy named Austin Collie, who ended up playing on the Colts. And he was a Mormon. And I heard that he was like totally like straight, and he was like the best. He was such a good wide receiver on our football team, and we had an amazing football team. And I never heard that he did anything like at all, really. You never know, maybe he did a little bit, but for the most part, these professional athletes that I've seen grow up in my youth were very, 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 very clean, and they excelled the most. And the other guys, there's so many of them, they got into drugs and alcohol and partying and other bad stuff. And then they kind of just like veered off course, and they never really made too much progress. I knew another guy who got into the pros, but these other two guys like had the best long-standing performance. And in terms of now what I've seen from an adult in San Diego, what I've seen like people that have turned out to professionals, there's one kid that I, grew up with. Since he was 12, I would play every week at the San Diego Tennis and Racket Club once a week, and I'd play with him because he was number one in the United States as a 12-year-old and 14-year-old, I believe. And he ended up being like, I think, number one in the 18s or something eventually. But his name is Brandon Nakashima, and he literally, I don't even think he's ever had any alcohol in his life. And I don't think he's ever done any drugs, and I don't think he really has spent time doing anything that's not really relevant to his career. And it's probably his family and upbringing had to do with it a lot. But, he's maybe 40 or 50 in the world right now. He actually just won the pro tournament in San Diego, and he's definitely like, definitely stayed on the straight path of all that stuff. And then another kid from San Diego, which I saw kind of grow up also, his name's Taylor Fritz. And he grew up and he was number one in the 16s, number one in the 18s in the United States. And I hit with him a little bit, but I saw was like how his upbringing was, and he never, I don't think they really like got into anything hard. Like they didn't like drink excessively or like do anything bad, and everything kind of worked out for him. And he's really good. He's like top 10 in the world now. Of course, he came from a very affluent family, or a very wealthy, well-to-do family, wealthy family that lives in Rancho Santa Fe. And they had parents that were also pros, so they had a good upbringing. But what I saw is that these kids really have taken it to like world-class level, and they don't really drink. And you can see like whenever people start drinking, and nobody, I don't think anybody ever gets any better in this world at something drinking. I just don't think it happens. So it really takes your money, your time, your health, and your mindset. It really kind of veers you off course and derails you. And it just kind of removes anxiety, makes you extroverted, makes you feel good, makes you not care about certain things you should care about. And it makes you live too much in the moment, whereas you should be like kind of, not always living in the moment 100%. You kind of need to sometimes think about your future. But anyway, that's what I've seen in like the professional athlete side realm. And I did see other players that were also super good next to Taylor Fritz, and I just saw them get caught up in some other stuff, like too much bad stuff, and it hurt them too bad. It just stuff just like derails you. Anyway, for the most part though, I would say as a young guy, I had my first drink when I was 16 years old. And I just remember it was so bad. I remember going to a party and I saw these people drinking when I was 16. I'm like, man, what the hell? I can't drink this. I smelled it. I was like, what is this? This is vodka? It smells terrible. Tastes terrible. It's disgusting. I remember smelling beer also when I was a kid. It was so bad. And so I was like, why are these people drinking alcohol? Like, it doesn't make any sense. I remember I started drinking just because it was fun. I think it was just like crazy fun. You didn't care about anything. And I think that's how I started drinking when I was younger. And then I think it progressed to drinking at parties, and then, being around girls. And I think I started drinking once I started like going to college and going out to parties. I think I drank just for social reasons. And then just going out, I think I felt like I had to drink in a bar type environment to be more extroverted, to talk to girls. But, everybody's drinking. So I just started drinking, and it's just a slow, then there was a period in my life where I didn't drink a lot and I got a lot done. And then I just, all of a sudden I just started drinking a lot in nightclubs, and I just started going out and drinking a lot, like 10 or 15 drinks a night, a few times a week. So I just completely derailed where I was headed. And it's very, it takes a long time to come back. Mental focus and like being centered and peaceful after you drink, because when you drink, it's like you're putting the whole body like in chaos, not for that moment, but when you come out of it, when the hangover comes, when the withdrawal comes, it definitely hits you. And I don't really, typically, you do something and then you get a bad result from it. You don't want to repeat doing it. Why would you do something if it takes your money, your time, your health, and makes you feel bad and derails you? Because in that moment, it doesn't take all of that. Like you feel good. It's not until way after it happens. So there are other things that, I've done. Like I don't smoke weed because I just don't like it and enjoy it. I don't enjoy the experience. So I'm like, okay, I'm just not going to do that. But when you drink, you do feel good, especially if you have like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drinks, or then you start feeling good, especially if you do it like in a short period of time. And so you don't really associate with the bad feeling with what happened. You associate good feeling with what happened. And then later on, it's just, oh, you feel terrible. Okay. And you just accept that's how you're just going to feel. But what the main part in why we drink, I think also as guys, is that and I think this is universal. It's just uncomfortability with the social environments, and you just have to. And I think mostly it stems with talking to girls or wanting to talk to girls. And I think guys go out, they drink a lot because they remove the fear of wanting to talk to girls. So realistically, they go through all this, spend all the money, go through the loss, lose the health, have all these repercussions just because they want to be able to talk to girls. Whereas that fear, if you just face that fear and just start talking to girls and being in uncomfortable situations enough, then you won't actually feel like you have to drink. And I've done it recently a lot, and I've gone out to parties in places where people are just getting tossed, like drinking tons and a lot of other stuff. And I'll be out for like 5-6 hours, and it's slightly uncomfortable at first few times, because I was started going out for a few months, and I didn't drink and do anything, and it was very uncomfortable. I wasn't comfortable. But you know what? I just stuck through it. I was like, and then there were periods where I was getting like a very anxious or nervous or whatever, and I would just take a very deep breath rather than take a drink. Normally I would take a drink, and then I'm like, hold on, I don't need to take a drink. I just need to take a deep breath. And so I'd take a deep breath, and I realized, oh, why am I so nervous and anxious? It's just a lot of people fucking drinking and doing other stuff. Like, why do I feel like I need to have a drink? There's no other way around it other than reprogramming your brain that you just don't need it, and that you don't really actually need it. And in fact, it actually makes people like you even more in a way, because you're kind of like you don't do anything stupid. You don't say anything stupid, which God knows how many times, all the stupid things that we've done when we've been drinking, all the stupid things that we said. We're actually better with girls when we don't drink sometimes, because we don't say anything bad and we can understand everything. Our brain is working at full capacity rather than kind of not, because we poisoned it. We think it's working better, but it's actually not, because the tension and the anxiety and the nerves and the fear is actually a useful mechanism by the body to protect you and to kind of guide you in the right direction. So when you drink a lot, it removes all of that, and it's like going into a tennis match or a basketball game in front of the whole world. You're going to be nervous at first, especially, you're going to be nervous, but does that mean that you drink like a bunch of alcohol before you play these sporting events where you're nervous? No, but it's the similar kind of thing when you go into these venues or just go into, and all these drinking environments in general, like parties. So just because you're nervous and you're, anxious or whatever, doesn't mean that you have to drink a bunch of alcohol. It's literally the exact same thing as walking into a basketball game or a tennis match on a tennis tournament. You're going to feel nerves, and that's a good thing actually, because it's going to make you kind of be careful on the wrong things to do too quickly. You don't want to do something wrong. You kind of want to, the uncomfortability is kind of a good mechanism to keep you not to do anything while you feel it out. So that's my opinion on that. So, and anyway, I don't even understand alcohol. It's $20 a drink, like $20 a drink, like out there in the world. I don't even get it. Like, if you want to buy, alcohol is definitely a drug. Actually, they even say alcohol is the most perfect drug. It's like a downer, an upper, and it's like cocaine and Xanax and something else, and heroin all entwined into one, because it suppresses anxiety, it stimulates you, and then it also does something else. I forget what it's called. Jordan Peterson mentioned in one of his videos on alcohol how it's like the trifecta. It's the most awesome drug, and it's the most dangerous because it does all the things to you. But anyway, it costs, when you go out, $20 for a drink, $15 for a drink. If you buy 5 drinks for everybody, it's going to cost $100. If you just you know how much food you can get at Trader Joe's for $100? I mean, you get a week's worth of food for $100, and 5 drinks of alcohol where you're poisoning yourself costs $100. And it's just kind of crazy, because what other drug costs $20 for just one drink? And you have to drink 8 of them. So you have to spend $150 on yourself or $100 to get a good buzz. And I mean, $100 worth of weed, that's a lot of weed these days because the price has gone down, or $100 even worth of any kind of crazy bad drugs, I mean, I'm not saying I ever did, but if I bought a bunch of freaking, $20 for a drink, it's crazy. $20 in meth will last. I don't do meth, but I think that would get me last me 2 weeks, a week. I don't know. I don't really do it, but if I did, and I drink alcohol is $20. I don't get it. Or $15, depends where you go. Maybe 10, 15, whatever. Really depends where you go. But between $10 and $20 per drink, it's weird. Think about it. But we don't get it because we've been so brainwashed, and we've been so conformed to just that's what they say. So we just do it. So okay. And everywhere we go, hey, do you want a drink? Hey, do you want a drink? What do you want to drink with that? I'm no, just water. And then people are they're trying to, when you especially don't want to drink, sometimes people really want to shove it down your throat. It's bro, I don't want to put alcohol down my throat. I mean, think about it. I mean, I have put a lot of alcohol. There were some weekends I've been out. I have drinking 15, 20 drinks, 3-4 days in a row. That's like 80 drinks in a weekend, in a 4-day weekend. I'll tell you what, I did that a lot of times, right around 30, 31, 32. And it was devastating. It was a devastating aftermath after I did all that. And, that's sort of when my eyes started opening up to like what was going on. And I didn't realize that it's kind of like a slow decline. Like, I started drinking a little bit as a kid, and it got more. And then it really accelerated once I started making money. And it's weird. Like, I went through a period where, I'm trying to make money, trying to be successful, trying to make money. And then all of a sudden, I make money and I'm able to buy my Ferrari that I've always wanted. And, I have all these things, and I have the girl that I want. And what I do, I just drank myself to death, almost. I drank an incredible amount. So, I didn't even realize, like, oh, I'm blowing money on my health. Because I thought I'd make it. And I was almost self-sabotaging myself because I just felt like I wanted to not care or forget it, about some stuff. So anyway, it seems like it's a lot of fun, but I know that it's not fun after. So you have to take the summation of the whole thing of what happens directly after, what happens right after, which you feel good. But then afterwards, for a very long period of time, you're not going to feel very good. And as you get older, it lasts, honestly, to get to peak performance, especially sometimes you get sick if you go out and drink. It could last up to 5 days, 6 days, 7 days. And I've noticed that if it goes like 7, 8, 9, 10 days, the longer you go up to 30 days, the more vibrant you're going to be, the more full of life you're going to be. And you're not going to let like this thing, like alcohol, if you think about it, it's kind of crazy, have this power over you, because everywhere we go, everybody drinks, and everywhere it's just, okay, one drink. But it's not just one drink typically, because not everybody's telling the truth. People take a lot of drinks because it's very addicting. And I read this thing in a book, and basically it says that alcohol is just like liquid heroin. And I totally believe it, because I literally went into these places where people are drinking and everybody's drinking, and it really seemed like a legalized opium den, except nobody's injecting themselves. They're pouring it down their throat. And I really think there's a very big similarity, and there's a lot of truth to saying that alcohol is just like heroin, because I've taken Vicodin or some opiates for pain relief, and I feel like it does similar things to me as alcohol in a way. And I just think that it's kind of crazy how the world has that we have it. And I think alcohol is so prevalent because it allows people to kind of forget all the stuff that they're doing, and kind of, I think it's allowed, and it's not allowed in every country. Like Arab countries, Saudi Arabia, they don't allow it because it's against their religion. They know how bad it is. They know it's not on the straight path of Islam, and it's actually it's haram in the Quran, which is the Bible basically for Muslims. And I grew up actually in a Muslim family, and my dad always told me about it, and I never actually realized how bad alcohol was, but I'm actually realizing it now. Now I'm 35, that it really is really bad. And it's the whole world the majority of the world is hooked on it. And I just can't believe that. It's everywhere. It is a large portion of a lot of business that places make. Think about it. Almost every restaurant, a lot of the restaurants, not like McDonald's or something like this, but a lot of the restaurants, they make a lot of the money on alcohol. You buy the food is $20. The drink is $20. Drink costs a lot less than the food. That's for sure. And it's just, it doesn't really help you. I've kind of figured out that it doesn't really actually help you relax, because the aftermath that happens afterwards, you're not relaxed, and you have to take into consideration the entire experience of alcohol if you're going to say it makes you relax. I think that it removes fear. I think that it makes you forget things and not care. And I think that the aftermath is terrible. It's very, 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 very bad. If I drink 5 or 10 drinks, 5 drinks or whatever, and bottle of wine, I'm going to feel it for a few days at least. And that aftermath has to be taken into consideration in the equation. When you say, oh, it makes me relax, it doesn't make me relax. It makes me freak out. It makes me have a panic attack later on in the week, and it makes me feel like terrible, and it makes me feel depressed. So it doesn't make me feel relaxed. It does a combination of bad things, and it does a little bit of good things in the beginning to make me not have fear, which I probably needed to have. That would help protect me and give me and my senses would be working, because we do have senses in our brain, and they're there to protect us, because we're a very advanced being. We're the most advanced being in this world, and we have these senses: eye, sense, sight, all these feelings, the emotions. Fear protects us. We don't want to get near the edge of a cliff, hopefully, because it's a danger zone, and we should be scared just the same way as a lion. We know we shouldn't get next to him. But if maybe somebody drank way too much, maybe they think that the lion's going to play with them. Not going to play with them. It's going to kill you. So the interesting thing is that, coming to an end to this video, they say that, how do you stop drinking alcohol? Well, you need an adventure. And they say that the adventure is a substitute for drinking, but in reality, the adventure that you need to take in life, you are substituting alcohol for that. So you're using alcohol as a substitute to keep you away from the adventure that you really should be going on. It's kind of crazy. Actually, I heard Jordan Peterson say that in one of his videos and in one of his podcasts about talking about alcohol. And it's crazy. He has it down to a T because every single thing that he says about it, I've experienced and I've seen, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's exactly what it is. Like, you on the ascending blood alcohol level, you get very, it just makes you feel high in a way, and it makes you outgoing. And then on the lower, it kind of like you kind of drop off. So it's kind of crazy, it's all around us. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because it's caused me a lot of pain. I would say the majority of the pain I've ever experienced in this world, a good amount of it has come from me abusing alcohol. And I don't drink on the weekdays. I would only drink on the weekends. But if you drink hard enough on the weekends, like you drink 3, 4, 5 drinks first night. Okay, well, now you're going to be a little hungover. You're going to be a little off the second night. So you drink 3, 4, 5, 6 drinks, 7 drinks the second night. Okay, let's say you go out again. Okay, well, now you've already started the pattern. Now you're going to be even more off. You're going to be hungover. So you need to drink like maybe up to 9 drinks, 7, 8, 9 drinks. You need to drink like four drinks just to feel normal, minimum, after drinking all that a couple days prior. And then if you drink 3 days in a row, going out like that, you're definitely gonna, I've definitely like had like sweats when, I'll be like sleeping and my bed's drenched and I'm freaking out, or, I'm having like anxiety and depression for several days, and I can't do much, and I'm freaking out. Like the whole world's like coming, collapsing on me, and it's really terrible. So I feel like this is a very valuable video, and anybody who actually watches it should really notate all the things I said, because it's real. And there's one book actually that really helped me stop drinking for a while. It's called Alan Carr's Easy Way to Control Alcohol. There's another book. It's called Alan Carr's Easy Way to Stop Drinking for Women or something. There's a women's version, but I listened to the men's version, and it helped me stop for like 3 or 4 months. And then I got back on the train for a little while, but then I think eventually I think you just like, man, I don't want to drink anymore. Like, you never know, you could always jump back on the train and like start drinking again. But at this moment, I don't feel like drinking. And I figured I'd make this video because it's amazing how much damage it causes to the whole world. And it's totally legal. You can buy it. Everybody does it. So I think that this is a cool, valuable video to make. So if you haven't liked the video, actually, please hit the like button. And if you're drinking too much or you haven't went on an adventure, just put the bottle down. Listen to Alan Carr's Easy Way to Control Alcohol. You can learn a little bit more about some of the truths of alcohol. Check out Jordan Peterson's videos. They're pretty good. And I will see you in another video another time.